All right, thank you very much. Welcome everyone to the Northampton Urban Forestry Commission meeting, February 18th, 2026. This meeting is being recorded. We have a public comment period. We have a few non-commissioners here. Councilor Stratton is welcome.
Hi, can I comment now or?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
please.
Just
Yep,
understand. All right.
yep.
Yes, my name is Chris Stratton. I live on Redford Drive, and I am the new city councilor in Ward 6, which is the southwest corner of the city.
Oh.
Wanted to tune in both just to kind of see what you do is my process of, sort of virtually touring the whole city, but also to speak to a particular timely concern. There is a proposal in the works to put 39 condominiums on Glendale Road, just north of the East Hampton line. On Glendale Road on a spot known as Breakeys Hill, which is a fairly dangerous curving hill. A lot of people drive off the road there in winter. And they basically have the permit already and have built the driveway for this condo development. So they basically cut a road in and taken down all these trees on their own land. And that is before the planning board right now as a housing project. And what is a little bit unclear to me is the interaction with the planning permit and the tree warden or the forestry commission in terms of the street trees, the public shade trees that would basically be blocking the needed sight lines. Um, Given the traffic speeds, depending on whether you use the posted speed limit or what we think the typical speed is, you need anywhere from about 330 to 400 feet of visibility, which is possible in the geography in this location. But if you consider that a driver's eyes are maybe 6 to 6.5 feet back from the front bumper, we went and we measured that in from the curb and stood there in the snow and took some pictures looking up and down the hill. And there's a whole bunch of both, substantial trees. I mean, 4 inches and up in breast height that are obstructions there. But then if you look in street view in the summer, there's just a whole lot of foliage. I mean, saplings, brush, other things. And that is in the public right of way. That is owned by the city and nobody can touch it without permission. And I'm sort of curious how, both in this specific spot, but just in generally, when we have, public shade trees that are obstructing needed sight lines, what's the process for making sure that that gets included in the permitting of a project that, would depend on this? And speaking with the residents there, they are very, very upset about all the trees that came down interior of the site. They said, you cut down the trees that had the owl's nest in it, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, this is the remaining, like, 8 to 10 notable trees and a whole bunch of little stuff that, because it's in the public right of way, and I can't match it up. I tried to match it up to things in Tree Keeper, and I was not able to identify very many of the specifics. But for a substantial distance up and down the hill from like 5, 6 feet in, those trees are really a safety consequence. And it's not that we don't like the trees, it's just that those are in the way. So I will stop my comment there.
Thank you, Counselor. We have another member from the public, May Adams. I don't know if you have a public comment.
Hi, I'm just a student from UMass and I have to do a project where I just like go to a public meeting. So I'm just here to listen.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for attending.
I just
Uh,
asked a clarification question about the Glendale Road thing. Okay, I just
No,
wanted,
we
okay.
can. So what I will say is that, Counselor, if you have some questions about that particular project, you can send forward me an email with your questions. That would be helpful.
Okay, I'll put that together. Thank you.
Thank you. Um, our next agenda item is review and approve minutes of our previous meeting, February 4th, 2026. I don't know if folks had a chance to read them. If you
I
didn't,
read
take,
them. I wasn't
okay.
here, but I know I can
Oh,
vote on them, so I'll say
okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I
Thank
haven't
you.
read them. I'll
That's all right. Take your time. So we
flip
have
through it
plenty of
now.
time. Thank you.
one really minor correction in the spring planting discussion, the third bullet. If you could just capitalize Rotary the first time it comes up, that would be, make it a little clearer and more correct. Other than that, I'm good.
I'm done. Looks great. Thanks, Bonnie.
Rich, you're on mute.
Yeah, a comment under the tree maintenance. So the trees of interest should be from 1 to 3 years old is a more appropriate, not 5 years old.
Is there anybody still reading them? I think we're all done.
Sue,
Yep, done.
Kent? Okay, and all right. We could entertain a motion to accept the minutes
We
as
accept the minutes
amended?
with those two corrections.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second.
that.
All right, we have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? There's no discussion. Bonnie, could you take a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Rich Parasoletti,
Yes.
Susan Loftus,
Yes.
Molly Hale,
Yes.
Jennifer Werner,
Yes.
Richard Parrish,
Yes.
Kent Johnson,
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Okay, our next agenda item is the Chair Tree Warden report. I only have one item to report, and that is that we have a request for, I have a request for a public shade tree hearing for 296 Ryan Road. And the request is to remove a singular 28-inch white pine to make to alter this existing driveway there that needs to be altered in order to accommodate the new new units that are going to be built there. So I have not scheduled it yet, but it's going to be in process. So I would imagine it will probably happen in a few weeks. So
Is
I
that
would
the
come-
place on the corner of Gilrain or Gill something?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. It's the property on the corner of Gilrain and Ryan Road. Yep.
Mm.
So that's
So they only want one tree to come down?
yes. Yep. They have to realign that. They have to realign the existing driveway that's there. I believe to make it applicable to the project footprint or to make it so the driveway is usable for the project footprint. So but once I don't think the hearing probably won't happen until sometime in early March, but I need to schedule it and it needs to go to the Daily Hampshire Gazette and do all the posting process. So and that's all I have to report. Anyone have any questions? One thing I will say is that there is the Community Tree Conference, which I will send you a link to that. It is being held at UMass this year. It's been online in the past. I don't know if any of you have attended the Community Tree Conference, but Jen, you've been to it before in person? No, on Zoom?
Yeah, it was on Zoom.
Yeah. So that is in person at UMass. I'll send you a link to it shortly in an email so you can take a look at it.
I think it's
Um,
March 3rd, right?
yes, it's Tuesday, March 3rd. Yep.
Yeah.
It's really talking about a lot about tree risk assessment, tree decay. Um, there's the the scholarship awards at lunchtime, lunches on your own. So if anyone's interested. And I don't think I have I don't have anything else to report at this time. Any other questions? Okay, seeing
I
none.
have
we'll
a
move-
question. At a
Yes,
public shade tree hearing,
yes,
you go there and other people might show up who have an interest in that tree, I guess. And
yes.
what actually happens?
We have a public meeting. It's actually it's very similar to it's basically the way the public shade hearing works is that we advertise it. I have to abide by Mass General Law, Chapter 87. So we have to advertise the hearing. It has to be in the newspaper, in 2 separate weeks, 7 days apart from each other. It has to be posted on the tree or trees. It has to be posted in a public place, and of course, it's posted on the city's website. You go to the scheduled hearing is typically some communities do it differently, but it's at the discretion of the tree where I just do it at the site so people can actually physically see the tree if they're interested. And then we have a hearing, which is held like a public meeting. It has an agenda, just like we have with this agenda. And people are allowed to come to the meeting and make comments. If a particular party objects to the removal, then the hearing goes on until the end, which typically lasts anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour, depending upon how many people are there. And then once there's a lodged objection, then it's the decision of the disposition of the tree in this community is made by the mayor. In a community where there's the town meeting, board of selectmen, government, then the board of selectmen would decide what happens to the tree or trees.
Huh,
So,
interesting. Okay.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's been on the books since 1896.
Hmm.
Hasn't changed at all, I don't think, but yes. So in this case, I will do a hearing. It'll be on site. It'll be well advertised. People can go to the hearing and they can, people can also object in writing. That has to be delivered to the municipal tree warden prior to the hearing. So, or during the hearing. So,
okay, thanks.
all right. Yep, you're welcome. Okay. Our next agenda item is care and maintenance of existing trees discussion. And I'm unfortunately, I'm sorry that the agenda is very similar to the last one, but I had to post it because of the fact we had a holiday on Monday, so it had to get posted the previous week. So I didn't know. Rich, I wasn't sure if you were going to give us an update. I did get your email about those multiple questions. I am in the process of answering it, and hopefully I'll have all the answers sent to you tomorrow. So I don't know if that predicates you or you have anything to talk about.
No, I'll update
Okay.
the process. First of all, just on a semi-related issue, tree pruning is ongoing. There's about 500 trees have been addressed so far. So that the pruning is moving ahead nicely. Then, as to the summer tree maintenance program, I had put out a request for volunteers, and as of this time, we've got about 16 interested people, and I'm going to give another couple of weeks at the end of the month, and then just move forward with planning from there. And what we're thinking of doing is, with Kent's assistance, taking the volunteers' addresses and trying to kind of separate the trees of interest among those volunteers on some kind of maybe a local or geographic basis using his mapping system. And so we'll see how that process works, but regardless, we'll kind of divide up the pretty much the 1 to 3-year-old tree population among those volunteers so that they'll each have their own zone. And then somewhere in the spring, we'll plan to roll out to each of the volunteers their area of responsibility. And then I've also sent to Rich, and I copied Sue and Jen, just a list of questions for Rich's input on some of the processes to be carried out in this tree maintenance, such as, handling tree diapers, stakes, mulching, etc., just to get his input on best practices. So his input on those processes will be incorporated into a final information sheet that'll go out to the volunteers as to, this is the tasks we would like you to perform if possible, and this is maybe how we think it should best be done. And so that the volunteers will have kind of a guideline in hand to do their work with. And of course, it is a given that any effort expended towards this program will be more than would have been done without the program. So I think it's only going to be a positive, and we'll see what the effort is, and hopefully it can continue on, year after year. And I think the one big issue in the task column is if there can be other locations other than the Spring Grove Cemetery DPW yard for disposing of weeds, picking up mulch. Of course, Locust Street transfer, we can do mulch there. So any other locations that could facilitate people getting to it might just make the program a little bit easier for folks. I was just seeing something in one of the local publications about chip drop off. Who is it that does that? Is it one of the arbor or tree companies? Yeah, it's Sue.
My understanding is there's some website you can go to and you can sign up and ask for a chip drop. And local arborists go on the website and then they drop off chips. Somebody in my neighborhood had it. And then everybody went and got chips.
Okay, as in they bring a truckload and dump it there.
You have a space like your driveway or something. They'll just dump a big giant load of chips on your property.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know what trees they came from, and Rich can say whether there's any danger in using those chips or if the air dissipates any potential harm.
Can you specify how many chips you get? Or it's just
it's a mountain.
an overwhelming amount?
It's a mountain.
Well, yeah,
Technical term.
Yeah, it's a mountain, and the one thing I would caution about the chip drop is that you are getting whatever is in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of places where you might get a whole bunch of pine and pine needles. You might get a whole bunch of leaf litter that's actually not, that's soaking wet matted leaves. I mean, it depends. It depends what it is. And, my experience, I have never experienced it because I've never ordered any chips that way. I've always collected my own chips if I needed them. Here we obviously have chips because of the work that we do. and the contractor that does the tree work for us. But there's been people that have gotten way more chips than they wanted. There are people that have gotten chips that have a lot of trash in them.
Hmm.
So that's something you also need to try
Okay.
to avoid as well.
All right, right. Well, we may forego on that particular
Okay.
thing, but I also
Okay.
see that I think it's Cotton Tree Service has a chip mulch delivery system. Of course, they would be doing that for a fee, I imagine. But maybe we could, I don't know if that could be a possible outlet. Just if they could do something with a quality batch of chips in a manageable size that could be sent to a particular location that would facilitate our volunteers to be able to pick it up, say, on one particular day, rather than having to go pick up them all the way to the DPW yard. So that's, perhaps I can contact them to see what their story is. But yeah, Sue?
In my experience, Cotton Tree is community minded. And if maybe we could work with them to say we, like some better quality chips, can you sort of help us with that? We'd need a place to have them dumped. Also, CL Frank, is it CL Frank? The one that
Bartlett tree.
Bartlett.
Yep.
They're very community oriented. And in my neighborhood, a lot of people use Werner Tree, Bob, and he's very community minded. In fact, I keep meaning to contact him because he said he could help us with the trees in the industrial drive if we wanted tree care there. Because he lives by there. Like if we wanted help with weeding or something. So those are three companies that come to mind that, in my experience, have been very community minded. And I don't know, but if someone was willing to call them and ask them, could you work with us? I think the one thing they're going to want to know is, to get good chips, is where to put them. Any ideas, Rich? Rich or Rich?
Well, I think if you need chips delivered, the capacity to deliver 550 chips to a particular location is most likely doable. It's just a matter of having a place to actually dump them in a particular location that you're working where they get all of them get used and we don't have to go back and clean them up. Because when you're dumping chips, let's say on a tree belt on the side of a street somewhere, you're impacting not just the residents where the chips are in front of, you're also impacting the other folks that live on the street who may have to look at the chips, who may not want the chips and don't necessarily understand exactly what's going on. So I've found in the past that if the chips aren't all taken away, then the bigger operational lift is actually having to go pick the chips back up. So if we had a location, once I think there's a few more things flushed out with this program. If we had a location in a particular, let's just use a ward or a particular neighborhood in a ward where you were going to dump, where you need chips, and there was a potential easy location or maybe a piece of city-owned property that we could actually put the chips on that you could use from that location, that would be helpful. But I think to get just dump chips randomly, and I know you're not asking that, but just to dump chips in a place where they might become a burden on other folks, that could potentially just be a little bit of a issue that we don't want to have to work through if we don't need to.
Yeah, agreed. And picking like someplace with a hard surface, it would be easy to clean up after the fact. Would be, perhaps the corner of some commercial parking lot or something that everybody could just congregate there and pick things up. Just kind of throwing out ideas. But all right, so we can think on that. But I will contact maybe some of the tree companies just to see if their participation is doable, and if it would be manageable. So then I'll report back. But failing all of that, then we would just fall back on, the two DPW sites at Locust Street and Spring Grove for chips. Yeah, Jen.
Oh, Ken had his hand up as well. Sorry, Ken, you're gonna have to hold your hand up a little longer.
Oh, sorry. Is it possible to maybe like in one of the parking places at Sheldon Field? Could you like,
Yeah.
because that's on the other side of town, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's just an idea. I'm just trying to
Yep.
think about like city-owned property that,
Yeah,
to
I
try
mean,
to, like
there's
the center of town is Locust Street, Leeds and Florence, it'd be Spring
yeah,
Grove
I
and,
mean,
you know,
there's multiple public parking lots that we could utilize some of the corner space for to bring chips. We've done that many times when we're doing a project at a park that requires wood chips for a planting or something non-tree related, because there's multiple plantings at different parks. So yep, that's completely doable. And then if we had to clean it up, the cleanup's very easy because it is on blacktop.
I
So
wonder if Kent's mapping skills could come in to see, maybe we could, once we figure out where the volunteers are going to be, look for locations where there's a cluster and do a pilot where we try it in one certain ward where we have a lot of tree maintenance we want to do.
well, let's ask him because his hand is
Ken,
up. Ken.
hands up.
One thing I was going to say is there's several locations that have a lot of trees. The school in Leeds, I forget the name of that up on Florence Street, the St. Mary's Cemetery, the Bridge Street Cemetery, and also down in Village Hill. So we might look for places there. I mean, at the cemeteries, I'm guessing there might be a place to dump some chips. So that maybe a starting point. I also wanted to comment on the dividing up the trees among volunteers is a little tricky because the volunteers are not distributed as the same way the trees are. Particularly Sue, we've got you and me and George Coho are all like within a few blocks of each other, and three people up on Village Hill. But anyway, it's workable, I think. We do need the 2025 trees. And of course the final volunteer list, but I can't finish that until I have the trees. And Rich, I did send you an email a while ago about some duplicates in the tree light.
Yes.
Did you see
Yep.
that?
Yeah, I did. I have to sort through that. I'll try to get you the 2025 trees data tomorrow. I'm going to leave a big sticky note right here on my desktop.
Okay, super.
So I'll send that to you just in an Excel sheet, which I
Okay.
think will work.
That should
And then
be
we'll
fine.
have to work through those other duplicates.
Yeah, I'm guessing it got double entered because the date changed maybe because they're two dates basically a month apart for planting at the same locations.
Interesting.
I wonder if anybody else remembers that. It wasn't that long ago. Let me just look that up.
you have the ballpark address, like what street it is or whatever?
Yeah, I have exactly the street. It was Revel Avenue in April or May of 2022. There's 6 houses that had 11 trees planted in April and another 11 planted in May at the same addresses.
2022?
In 2022,
I think it's the same address.
yeah.
Ravel was another example of that.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
Oh, all right.
There was a resident who didn't want a tree, and then there was a little
Get mold on his house.
yeah, there could have been, I don't know what happened there, but if you gave me the exact address, I could tell you. I mean, I can walk. It's
Where we
one
planted
block
the
away.
memorial
I'll forward
tree.
the same email to you that I sent to
Great.
Rich.
And I can look at it like tomorrow or over the weekend. Yep.
And
Okay,
we can
great.
search our Google Drive for
Yeah,
when.
I can just walk over there and
Oh,
literally it's a block away.
oh,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, but I do remember there was some like minor conflict, and we usually try to work with the residents if there's a conflict. So
Okay, well, I've walked the street and clearly the data just showed pretty much a duplication of all the actual trees.
Yeah, there's a little
Um,
bit of difference in the cultivar. It's not exactly the same, but most of them are the same species. I think there's one that reports a different species. You'll see, I just sent you the email and the link to the tree list, so you can look them up in there and see all the details.
Then, Rich, if could you copy me on your 25 tree list that you sent to Kent, please?
I will
I'll
send you a copy.
incorporate that into my list.
Uh,
Okay,
Any
so
other,
we've got
go ahead,
a
Rich,
few,
sorry.
just a few more, few more thoughts, or we will continue to work these ideas on the maintenance things, and hopefully in the next month or so, we can kind of nail down final plans, at which time we'll have hopefully a final volunteer list and we can start to put it together.
thanks, Rich. Moving it forward.
Thank you. Let's see. Our next agenda item is spring 2026 tree planting discussion.
Jen, you want to run out of the gate, or you want me to talk about Rotary, or?
why don't you start, and then soon I had a little meeting the other day, and then Rich and I have a meeting on Thursday. So hopefully it doesn't snow too much. I did see the forecast. I'm like, oh.
It's canceled. Winter's canceled.
Okay, Barbara Devlin from the Northampton Rotary. They said it's not perfect, but they'll go with the 18th, 19th, April 18th, 19th for our community Rotary Day of Service. Planting, they'd like to know where we're going to plant. From our meeting minutes from last meeting, it looked like we were going to do JFK with a spillover into Spring Grove Cemetery. So we need confirmation on that. And then, is that confirmed, Rich Tree Warden?
I was hoping to, David's not here because
David's not here, yeah.
the school vacation week. So I wanted to loop him in just one more time, just to make sure that he has any other comments from his meeting with Tony and or Chris Chamberlain. So I can reach out to Tony Kuzners at the school department and
Thank
just
you.
talk to him individually. I'll do that tomorrow. And just make sure Tony is okay with that, and if we are able to move forward.
I know we do it every year, but I forget the steps. There's approval needed. There's a whole bunch of approvals needed to do school property. So we start with Tony, and then is it the principal next?
Yes, yep.
And then
Typically Tony will loop in the principal once we have the location selected roughly, and then the principal will make the final determination what happens on the grounds according to
and then I
education
think at that
department.
point we allow Barbara, the Rotary Club, from the Rotary Club to work with the school. You have to get on the school calendar
Yep.
in order to be on school property on a certain date. And then the school, does it go to the superintendent?
I don't know if I don't know if it does because Tony works for the superintendent, so the superintendent is looped in. I'm just trying to see if that was the week of,
I think they get an approval on it.
yeah, that's the actual beginning of school vacation.
Yeah.
So it's not, it probably most likely will not interfere with any event at the school.
And then my
Um,
notes had that you wanted to loop in was it the environmental club you've been working on with pollinators?
Yes. Yep.
So that's another group. Okay. And then Jen and I thought about if we're backdating it for the dig safes, we'd need to have the dig safes done sort of week of March 15th. She's gone out of town prior to those dates. So we want to ask you, Rich, for your support. We could supply volunteers, and we would ask Rich Parrish, of course, Christina, Bob Haxby, if you could meet with them. They could put in the stakes, but you could supervise. But we need guidance without Jen there because Jen provides the guidance because she has the judgment on where the stakes would go in. And then
Yep.
usually there's a little bit of a period between when stakes go in for somebody to say, hey, hold your horses, you can't put a stake there. And then the dig safe, there's the photographs. The volunteers can do the other parts. They can physically put the stake in for you if you tell them, put a stake
Okay.
there. They could take the pictures, put the paint down, get the folder together. So we just need a little extra support without Jen there.
Yep, that's fine. I think in this case, sorry, Jen, hold on one second. I think in this case, because we're planting in one location, we could actually even just use an overlay or a map to satisfy the dig safe.
Okay.
It's just to satisfy the trench permit. The dig safe is not
trench.
yeah, the trench permit is what we need to satisfy with the photographs, not the dig safe, but we still need some sort of photographic evidence or some aerial map of some sort that shows the planting locations.
So if
Can you, oh, okay, my question, maybe this is unnecessary. So somebody could submit the map that David has?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so, because the last time, could you just use the photo we used last year? It was just a photo of the sign in the
Yep, we
front
would
with
just
the address on it.
I would, if we're going to be planting in the back of the school, I'm probably going to need a little bit of a map because of the utilities that are there.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah,
So an
okay.
overview would be an overview would be fine. Or if we could only do photographs, we just stand back and take a couple of photos just to capture
Okay.
the location.
Yep.
So
if we
So
wanted to,
David, I do not have access to the map. David
okay,
has it. So I'm gonna be gone the first 2 weeks of March is the sticky part here. So yeah, so David, I guess I should email David and say we were at the meeting. I can't be there for the beginning of March. He should contact you directly, correct?
yep, I'm going to send him an email and just ask him to send me the map.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
thanks. Because
Because I
basically,
really, if there was no snow on the ground, I could run out there and put
Mm.
some stakes in and somebody could look at it. But you're not going to be able to tell anything out there right now. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
this is a
And
bit of so go on, Jen.
the other thing is there are going to be some replacements in the front as well, correct? And we could talk more about that on Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that can be included in whatever the number is.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
basically, we'd need to do on-site with you, Rich. Hopefully the snow would be gone, by, the 9th, 10th, 11th in there in order to get that dig safe in the week of the 15th, the St. Patrick's Day week.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we get some warming temperatures, the snow will be hopefully leaving, and then we can start to do our
Are you
work.
around that week?
Yeah, yeah,
Ninth,
I'm here. Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're reaching out to David, Jen's reaching out to David. You need the map, and we'll need some kind of on-site date. That's going to be the hardest part, I think, where we can get you and a couple people to put the stakes in and take the couple pictures, put the paint down.
Or you really only need one person. I mean, with
Okay.
Rich, you can just bang them all, you just need one person to meet Rich with the bucket of stakes and the paint, which it's in my basement right now, so it wasn't cold.
All right. Is there a date, Rich, you see that would work that week of the?
I think Sue, why don't we wait until our next commission meeting to sort of see if we can nail down a date based on the
That's a
weather.
good idea. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the 4th.
Yeah.
And Sue, do you want me to drop off? I have this bucket of steaks and before I leave, do you want me to drop off?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll get you some paint and whoever can come and pick it up from your house yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more steaks in the shed if you need it.
Right. There should be a whole lot of stakes in the shed
And
for
the
everything
hammer
we
should,
planted last season.
yeah, and the hammer should be in there too.
Let me make a note of that.
And if you can't find the hammer, you can talk to Christina. I just
Be a
usually
good
use
person probably to go out and
yeah, I just usually use my own, but
we'll need a hammer from the shed.
and paint too. So sorry I kept interrupting you there. I didn't
No,
want
I interrupted you.
to lose my train of thought.
Okay, so we got our minds around that pretty well, I think.
The only other thing we talked about is this is just throwing this out there. I know one of the plantings is on the border, intended plantings is on the border of the back of the JFK property and the fence at Spring Grove.
Yep.
I was just wondering if we would be interested in considering evergreens for that. I mean, I know we usually plant shade trees, but we've talked about that in it just maybe we can't really plant a lot of evergreens given we are usually in the public right of way. So it's just, people can ruminate on that, I guess, or something. But
Diversity.
yeah.
Plant diversity.
Yeah. But I don't know, we can talk more about that on Thursday, Rich, but I want to just throw that out there.
I actually really like that thought because it would match the white cedars that are bordering the cemetery between the JFK, the retention pond. That were planted many, many, many years ago. So you would sort of create an L. So if we went from that point and went towards Spring Grove Avenue. My only concern would be whatever we select, I think we're going to have to think about deer. This year in particular, in the cemetery here, the yews that are in the cemetery are totally been destroyed. And those white cedars are so mature, they're very tall, so they're out of the reach of deer now. But when they were younger, they probably were not.
Yeah, deer love that.
Yeah. So, but definitely it would also create a really nice backdrop on both sides.
That'd be beautiful. Beautiful green.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it'd be nice. Did we have concerns about getting water in there for young trees in that area on the back of the JFK?
Because we have access to we have to drive in there to do maintenance on the athletic field. So there's a way to drive in there and water them.
Okay, great.
I
There's
don't
a gate
see that
back
being
there.
a problem. Yeah.
Oh,
A
right.
gate. And
Yeah.
access to the basketball court, you could just drive in. Drive into that back parking lot on the left.
Okay.
And then Jen, do you want to jump in with some of these other sites that we're looking at?
I don't think we need,
Okay.
let me, I don't, it's mostly, yeah, I don't think we need to, once things are a little more nailed down, once
Okay.
Rich and I
Good.
meet, I think, yeah, I don't think it's worth, talking about
Okay.
that, but
Can I move on to Earth Day, Arbor Day?
yes.
All right. Earth Day and Arbor Day are the same week this year. And oops, let me move my calendar. Earth Day's Wednesday, April 22nd. And I don't know if we're going to do anything special. Um, I didn't take it. I might have taken it off work. I definitely took off that Friday the 24th for Arbor Day. We broached the conversation last time around about doing some projects, planting projects. The 24th is the Friday when we do the whip giveaway, and we also do whip giveaway the 25th. And wondering if Molly in particular might consider marking her calendar.
I already did
Oh, great, great, great.
for
You did
Friday.
such a
I don't know
good
if I can do
job.
Saturday, but I can do Friday.
Saturday would be, well, we'll see. We'll see who can
We'll
do
see.
what, but
I might be able to do Saturday.
okay, if you can, that would be great. And that would give us more capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we'd like to start getting a save the date list of dates for our tree leaders for starting to plan plantings. And we have sites, already kind of in mind. Once we get the dig safes done for JFK, we'd start looking at dig safes for some of these other areas. Jen and Rich are going to meet tomorrow and we'll have more on that. But please, everybody here, mark their calendars for Arbor Day. The trees, I understand, are ordered. And Jen's getting in touch with the school for the week of the 13th to 17th to get them bagged in order to have them ready because there's this school vacation in there. But we want to start communicating with volunteers soon. Get us on their calendar. So everybody, Rich, did you want to talk about Earth Day Wednesday the 22nd or Friday and Saturday? What you'd like to see for Earth
I,
Day?
I
Arbor Day?
well, I think there's 700 whips.
Oh,
So
700.
yeah, there's 700.
Mm.
So we ended up with I'll find the email. Hold on one second. I'll tell you what they are. Sent to so concolor fir, tulip poplar, redbud, red maple, river birch,
Red maple.
lilac, and white oak.
Hmm.
Do you want to have a theme this Arbor Day? Would you like me to do the press release?
Yes, actually, that would be helpful. So if you could draft the press release, what I'll do is I'll send you an email with the seedling types. So
Thank
you
you.
can have that, and then
Is there anything we want to talk about?
uh, I think we need to put an emphasis on as we did last year with the day of service for the Rotary Club. I think we also should probably include, if I have a meeting with the environmental club students on the 27th. So I will have a better, I'll know a little better if they're going to be able to participate. So it would be nice to actually mention the environmental club as a collaborator in the Arbor Day.
Hey, maybe a quote from them.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
I know the
I mean,
mayor likes to put a quote in.
yes, and of course the mayor it's a press release that comes from the mayor's office eventually after they review it. So Jen, I was just wanted to pick your brain for a minute. Do you think we haven't done in the last couple of years, but do we have capacity, do you think, to maybe plant a few larger sized trees on Friday or Saturday of that? Okay.
I definitely think we do. If it's not too many,
Okay.
and if
All
it's,
right.
we're not trying to, yeah, I think don't you think, Sue? I think we
Yeah. Yeah,
have enough.
especially with Molly helping with the having two different things, two different places going on the same day is the key to have somebody, a commissioner at the whip giveaway
Mhm.
is important. Yeah, I think we could, and we have, if we can get the word out to, the volunteers, we need strong people for doing big ones. Do you have an iconic spot in mind, Rich?
Not off the top of my head, but just
You
give me a New
mentioned
York.
big trees. I thought maybe you had something swirling in your brain.
I have
Not
a
off the,
list of spots we could throw around on
yeah.
Thursday.
Okay.
I don't need to. I
Yeah.
don't think take up time in this meeting for that, but
Okay.
I have some kind of options of places we've looked at, and yeah, depends on how many and how busy of a site traffic wise. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We can talk about that.
Basically, would it be late March? You need the press release?
Yes.
Is that soon enough?
Yes. Yep. And then the other thing is, for the Arbor Day proclamation, we should make a note that, by then, Rich Parrish, you'll have a total number of trees that we've pruned for this season. I'd like to have that as one of the, uh, points in the Arbor Day proclamation.
Yep.
So
Yep.
for some reason that didn't get, I don't know if I may have not been able to capture it at the time last year, but it wasn't mentioned last year, and I think it's quite important. Also mentioning the trees we planted last year, et cetera. And so we'll have, and any other factoids that you might think would be good for either the press release or the proclamation would be great.
You ever mention the total number of like volunteer hours over the past year or something like that? Or I don't
Over
know
the
if that's
past,
appropriate.
over the whole initiative since like 2015?
Oh no, since
Oh,
just over the past year, like
no, but we have that data, so that could be captured as well.
I mean, I think it wouldn't hurt to,
Yeah.
over the past year, we've pruned X number of trees or, and we've have
Yes,
a
and
record.
whereas volunteers gave X amount of hours to, improve the city of Northampton's tree canopy, creating it more sustainable. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's important for the city and the general public to know, we have a lot of volunteers doing a lot of hours. So it's,
We do.
it's important to, for everyone to know kind of the benefits we're providing and, recognize people. So.
Thank you. And any other thoughts about
I think that was it, wasn't it, Sue? I think.
planting
Yeah.
discussion?
Okay.
I think so.
Once the snow clears too, we'll also, if it is in early March, we do have a little pile. I have a list of a small pile of trees that theoretically are down there, and we'll see if they survive the winter. And, it's not an exorbitant amount of trees. So I have a little list of that too, that I can share with
I'll
you.
get the new tracker set up.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, I was going to just base it on the list you had come up with. I can
Yeah.
sort the old tracker and take out everything planted and
Great, that'd be
we could
great.
start fresh.
Great.
Jen, I'm still waiting for John to give me a list of the inventory that he has. So I hopefully
Okay.
I'll get it in the next day or two.
Okay.
Chestnut Ridge is online, so we can look at that pretty easily.
hmm
Um, so other than that, I don't have
Yeah, I
any
think we're,
other. Yeah.
Yeah, Jen's gone over last year's orders. See
Okay.
what makes sense. Wish list.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for about spring tree planting? Okay.
It's nice to think about that. As you look out the
Yeah.
window at the snow, I think
Well,
spring's never gonna come.
I was thinking the same thing, but I refrained from saying that. But yeah, now that you've said it, I totally agree with you. As I'm zipping up my coat here, right?
Yeah,
Yes, this has been a normal New England winter that, was something that we experienced throughout our lives, probably more so when we were younger, people that are from New England, which I think most of us are. But it just seems like it's been extremely long
yeah,
and it's been actually very cold.
yeah.
And
That's
I will say
unusual.
it is unusual, but it's also actually, as we talked about earlier before the meeting started, it is actually very helpful to the tree community,
Yeah, yeah,
pest suppression,
yeah.
keeping instead of the soils drying out, the soils and are protected. So there's
hmm
soil erosion is at a minimum, because wintertime soil erosion is a real thing. Also protecting from the root systems from drying out, which is another great thing. And also keeping the soil insulated in a way that the roots, the trees, uh, and it's been cold enough, the trees don't get the signal to wake up accidentally when it turns 60 degrees, but the ground's frozen. And then the tree basically starts to desiccate itself because it needs to drink. So that's a whole, that's another great, it's good for the plant material to be the way it is. This is what especially our native species, this is what they are accustomed to. And this is perfect weather for sugar maple tree. Sugar maples love this weather. Of course, we don't plant sugar maples in the right way anymore, but anyways, yes. So there are some positive sides to this longish winter, but spring
Rich,
is coming.
didn't you point out that what's really bad in those last few winters was it would go up and down?
Mm.
Yes.
Like
Yes, it is.
prolonged cold is better.
Yes, and trees, they get signals from nature, they get signals from their environment to tell them when it's time to wake up, when it's time to start to drink. Even though trees are dormant in the winter months, deciduous trees will still, if they can absorb moisture, they will. But their process is very slowed down, so it's not good for them to have that seesaw effect. They're just not, our landscape is not, the landscape material is not designed to have that seesaw effect, where it's not like sometimes in the past few years, it's almost acted like we were in a transition zone
hmm
between like, the tra but the plant material we have is not designed to be in the transition zone. So, but yeah, it's okay. It's just a little, it would be nice. I will tell you, there's not a lot of frost in the ground. Where there is snow cover, there is very little frost. In the roadway, it's a different story. There's about 3 or 4 feet. So, so when we do end up having some warm weather, the snow will percolate, the water content will percolate through the soil pretty quickly, which is a good thing
Mm.
because we actually are still in a drought. So
Yeah.
we definitely need some more moisture, but any other questions about tree planting? Okay. Are there any other items or business not anticipated by the chair that anyone would like to use this time to talk about?
Just ask about the significant tree ordinance.
I do not have an update for you.
Is there anything, would it help if we wrote it to the mayor individually or something like that?
I don't, I am waiting for an answer. So when I have an answer, I will get back to you. I don't, I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
you're
if
more
there's
than
anything
welcome
we can
to,
do.
you're more than welcome to send an email, but just before you do that, just let me know because I may have an answer beforehand.
Yeah, no, I'll wait. But if there's
Okay.
anything we can do to hasten it along, I'd love to
Okay.
know.
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
And I had a question.
Yes.
We talked at one point about having an updated tree inventory done.
Yes.
Is there any
I
thoughts about that?
I am trying to set, thank you for mentioning that. I'm working on trying to set up an appointment with Davy Resource Group to try to go over the different options. They did send me an email of, I don't know, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, about the different types of inventory that they could provide and what a rough estimate would be. So I need, because of the changes in the inventory gathering and the type of inventory they're going to do will depend upon, and depending upon what kind of data we want, will depend upon the process and how it's collected and actually what the individual cost per tree would be. So, when I have something more concrete, I'll get back to you. So I hope to maybe by our next meeting. So I will have some information, but it really depends upon, for example, like last time we did an inventory was in 2016 professionally, and we captured, like just about 10,000 street trees, and we did a risk assessment on all of the trees. So for example, the trees that we just planted within the last 5 years, I probably would not do a risk assessment on those trees. And the reason being is because the risk is negligible or low. So you have to sort of you have to set a threshold DBH, and then that changes the data collection. So let's say we decided to pick trees that are 6 inches and greater to do a risk assessment on, but we want to capture trees that are, 6 inches, between 3 and 6 inches in an inventory, but we don't want a risk assessment. So there's all this pricing that has to, once you figure out what data you want, then there's a price applied to it based on that. So plus the difference between, doing a smart tree inventory, which is done basically using the same type of methodology that Google captures Street View.
Mm.
That type of inventory cannot do a risk assessment.
Mm.
Risk assessment is either a level 1, which is a drive-by, or you're doing a windshield survey. A level 2, which is what we did before, is a boots on the ground 360 around the tree risk assessment, identifying conditions of concern, potential targets, and the risk of, the consequence associated with that tree or tree part coming in contact with the target.
Mm.
And then level 3 is advanced, which we wouldn't be doing because that's only done on individual trees that need further risk assessment after a level 2. But so that's sort of not the quandary, but it's just there's a larger menu to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Jen.
This is a change of subject, but I just thought
Yeah.
of this. Can you possibly, can I get the takedown list for 2025?
Yep.
Tree
Yep.
takedown list. It can be it doesn't have to be in a spreadsheet or anything. It can just be like a written list and a photocopy. It's fine.
Yep, I can get that to you on when we
Yeah,
meet.
I just didn't know if you needed a heads up
No, I have it. It's all good.
for tomorrow. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, tomorrow's Thursday already. That's right.
It is.
I'm still thinking I'm still
yeah,
thinking it's
right.
Tuesday. Oh boy. Okay.
Well, you'll be pleasantly surprised when the weekend comes.
I will come to work and no one will be here, and I'll wonder what happened.
So Rich, is there any more snow coming?
Maybe this weekend, maybe Friday Friday into Saturday. But I think it was supposed to snow today, but I haven't seen any snow yet, so. Any other questions? Okay, all right.
Sorry,
Yes,
I got one other thing that I
Sure.
just thought of. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Do we want to get spotted lanternfly information to put out at Arbor Day? Because I think there's free stuff you can get from
Yep.
MDAR.
Yep, from AMDAR. Yep.
Yeah, it's probably they used to have all kinds of swag like keychains and blah, all the stuff, but I think it would be important to have that stuff because it's a newer in our region.
Yeah, let me see if Lanternfly, Massachusetts. Yeah, remember they have the original Stop the Spread of Spotted Lanternfly. It was like a
Right.
PDF.
They
That's
had-
an
And they
AMDAR.
also used to give away. Do you want me to look into it, Rich?
Sure, you can, or we
Yeah,
can
'cause
do it
You used
together.
to be
It's
able to
fine.
get like cards, like wallet cards that
Yes.
Yeah, tattoos or maybe.
Yeah. Let me. I can put that on my list.
I have not seen a tattoo of a spotted lanternfly, and I think that the tattoos they probably wouldn't want to give them away because you don't want to make the spotted lanternfly
Right.
popular.
Right,
We
right.
had tattoos of something, some bug.
That's
We
true.
had-
They did the
It's
Asian
true.
longhorn beetle. They did.
Oh, we had
Yeah.
Asian longhorn beetle tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so spotted lanternfly has been confirmed to be breeding in Northampton, right?
Yeah.
And that means that MDAR would have come out here to assess it or something.
Yep, investigate. That's correct.
Do we know anything about that?
Do not,
They haven't communicated with you at all?
have not.
Often, well, I don't know how they're handling it, but when it was in Springfield, they didn't. I don't know if they communicated directly with the tree warden there, but they didn't really want to tell people where it was, so there wouldn't be a whole bunch of people. But there's a dashboard, which is active, it's live, that you can see. It used to be in Springfield, and now there's this arc up the
Yeah.
Connecticut River Valley. It's in
Right.
Granby, it's in
Right.
Chicopee, it's in. So
I knew it was here. I'd heard that they had been found to be breeding in Northampton, and so I was just wondering, so what's the next step? What is actually happening around that?
I think to be honest with you, it's monitoring because I'm looking at that dashboard
Yeah.
map and you click on Northampton and it just says spotted lanternfly infestation present as of 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it even worth reporting to them now? Because we already know it's in Northampton. They don't really care where in Northampton it is, do they?
I think they do care where it is because if people report an infestation, they probably want to take a look at it. So I mean, I think it would be at a minimum helpful to have printed out on some of those spotted lanternfly flyers to be tabled because it does have that QR code on the bottom left-hand corner where it takes you to the website and it tells you how to report spotted lanternfly, which is like this little red button that I'm looking at.
mhm.
So, because it says to report spotted lanternfly, get a photo if you can and fill out the form below. And they have a contact location, your name, phone number, email, location of sighting. Do you own the land? How did you hear about the web page? Additional comments, and they allow you to upload 3 images of it. So,
It is still on the list of invasive species that they want you to report.
yeah, yep,
There's a short list, but
yes.
that's still one of them.
So, yeah, I think it's worthwhile sharing information with residents that we interact with on the tabling day. And then I can find out if I can get some of those little cards, those little poly cards if you want from Jennifer Foreman Orth.
Yeah, that would be great. I think whenever
Okay.
we stuff somebody can take away.
Yep.
Those are good. They show pictures of the eggs and, well, the different stages and stuff.
I have one around here somewhere. I just
And they're
don't know where.
small, so people
Yep.
take them.
Right,
You
right,
put it in your
Bigger
wallet.
things, people don't
Yep.
want to
right,
deal with a big piece of paper.
Yep.
right.
You
And you can use them,
punch a hole in them and put them on your keychain.
right. You can use them to scrape the egg masses too. That's what they're asking people to do. They are.
They are. It's true. They
This
also make
card is
great.
a tool.
Yeah.
That's right. They're also good for frost on a windshield.
Yes, they are.
But
Unlocking doors.
We know where you're living now.
I don't know if you can actually do that.
I don't know if you can anymore. All right, I think I'm done interrupting.
Oh, that was good, Jen.
it's fine.
That was smart.
It's fine. All right. Any sorry, I just was reading this. I briefly looked at this. It said they have a form just for Massachusetts for spotted lanternfly, but if you're not in Massachusetts, they give you a bunch of other links to other states, which is interesting. I didn't see that before. It brings you to the USDA website. Okay. Okay, I don't have anything else to report. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to talk about before we adjourn the meeting? Or could I get a motion to adjourn the meeting early if people are
I'll move to adjourn.
okay? All right.
Second.
All right, there's a motion to adjourn the meeting and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Bonnie, could you call a roll call, please?
I can.
Thank you.
You got a bigger chance when you said you're gonna go by the things. That's weird because they.
I don't know what, that's not me. Rich
No.
Oh,
Persolini.
that's from Rich
Yes.
Parrish.
Oh, Susan,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Richard Parrish,
Yes.
and Kent.
Yes.
Thanks,
All right.
Bonnie.
Thank you. The motion
you,
passes.
Bonnie.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.